I'm going to do a little jam for you I wrote years ago called 265. It's got some kind of cool things in it that you can take and use and add to your own stew and stir it up and serve it up piping hot to the peeps. Wow, that sounds good. Here we go. Well, all right. 265, that song is called. I wrote that back in college days. I was going to the University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point, where I majored in jazz guitar performance with an emphasis in beer. Not that I'm condoning that kind of activity, but if you've been to Stevens Point, Wisconsin, and you've sampled the savory nectar that is Point beer, especially Point Bach, good Lord, I don't partake in the fermented refreshments anymore, but part of the reason that is happening is because of my diligent study in college and shortly thereafter. Anyways, I digress. 265 is an amount of money I paid someone to do something very inappropriate in a bar in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. I won't get into any details because this is the internet and things live forever. So I'm just going to say that the yacht club in Stevens Point is no longer there. It's been burned to the ground, as is the memory of the actions motivated in part by the compensation of $2.65. All right, so I had this song. I was a big fan of Hammond B3 and blues in general, blues jazzy type of stuff. So this is, I don't know, I reckon this is around 1987 that I wrote this damn song. And the gist, I don't know where I got these chords from other than the fact that it's just triads that are basically harmonizing an A Mixolydian scale. So I'm just going to run through. So I'm like, if I'm playing this song solo, a lot of times I'll just have the A string vamping. I'll go. Okay, so that little thing right there is basically I'm doing in the key of A. That's what I'm harmonizing. So I start off here, and all the chords are on the middle strings: the D string, G string, and B string. So I got a G string triad. I got an F sharp minor triad. E minor triad, D triad, and then I add an A7 in here just because, instead of an A major, A7, and then B minor, back to A major. And I kind of slide into it to make it sound a little bit more greasy. And imagine, and that little chicken pick there. So I've got my first finger on the D string and my thumb on the D string there too. And so when I hit that thumb note, it's muted because my first finger's right behind it. It's kind of that chicken picking thing that I do all the time. Anyways, okay. So the slides in and the slides out are. And then I do this little walk down. You've probably seen me do this before, but it's an A7. Let's get a little close up here. Let me do those chords again one more time. G triad, F minor triad, F sharp minor, sorry. E minor, D major, A7, B minor, A. And I slide in and out. Sometimes I'll bend this. You can slide it. Go back and forth a little bit. Mr. Wiggles. And then I go. At one point I do that, or I do this little descending thing, which I was about to show you. A7. Keep my first finger where it's at there on the second fret, on the A note on the G string there at the second fret. Bring everything down to be actually a C diminished. Down here, B minor 7 flat 5. And I'll go to A. Sometimes when I do that B minor 7 flat 5, I'll go hit that little hammer-on pull-off on the high E string there at the first. Slide back to the A, and then a little pull-off on the B string there at the first fret. You do a little hammer-on pull-off if you want. So. Not much time to do that there, but. Second time I go, kind of doing an octave up of that, so it goes to a G diminish to an A7 there. All right. Just kind of doing that. Okay. Then I go to the G, and now I'm kind of harmonize a G mixolydian. D9. Back to A. Now it goes to a C9. So C triad, B flat triad, and then these little like 6 chord things. Again, that diminished to A, and then up to C9 up here. And then to D, kind of the same thing, but now we're in D, a whole step up. E7 sharp 9. G9, G sharp 9, back to A, and then it goes the second time through the head, it goes. And does the G thing again. Then it goes to E. So I'm kind of harmonizing that, E mixolydian with those triads again. So I got basically what amounts to a C sharp minor triad, B minor triad, down to A, and then E7, down 2 steps, chromatic, and then this little shell voicing. All E string, D string, G string there. And then it's lead time there, folks. I'm just kind of feeling it through there, but I came up with this kind of variation of a Chet Atkins lick that I decided to do during this particular thing. So the lick of the day, ladies and gentlemen, is this. Usually if you can do these counterpoint things that are going in opposite directions. So if I'm in A here, and like a major pentatonic, like in these notes right here. Okay, so I got 5th fret, 7th fret, both 6th fret, and then 7th fret, 5th fret up on the. But I'm just kind of doing like a little. And I did that all over the place, like. It's kind of a fun little. So when I'm soloing over that tune, I'm thinking A7. Then down to G7. A7. Then to C7. D7. And then to E, G, G sharp, back to A. And then it just goes through the whole progression. At the very end, you go down to E instead of going to the C. So right, you go. So it's kind of fun in that you can just kind of play a blues over each one of the chords. So you kind of just change to those different keys for each one of the chord changes. You go A to G to A, then to C to D, then to E, and then just follow the chords and just kind of play your blues grab bag in that effort. This is a tune off a record I did called Strat's Got Your Tongue, originally released in 1995, ladies and gentlemen. Our first record was Greg Koch and the Tone Controls, just eponymous. Mostly a collection of vocal tunes with my trio and then quartet at the time, mostly vocal-oriented stuff, although Tonus Diabolicus are my volume knob opus was on that record. And then it was kind of funny because the Fender folks at that time were hip to the band and they were trying to help me out as an artist and as a guitar player. And they're like, we really like that first record, but we could really kind of use you a lot more to do a bunch of stuff that we might be able to work together if you put out a record with a little bit more playing on it. So I ended up recording. We had a bunch of tunes in the can, both vocal and instrumental, but we had more instrumentals than not. And I thought, well, I'll just do it an all-instrumental record. So that was Greg Koch and the Tone Controls, Strat's Got Your Tongue. And I was playing mostly Strat at the time, although there is Telly on that record as well, especially on Spank It. Anyway, a record label from Rochester, New York, my buddy Joe Romanola, decided to put different artwork. We'd made a little deal that he licensed Strat's Got Your Tongue and re-released it a few years back with different artwork. It was kind of funny because the record came out. I was like, hey, there's a new record from Greg. I was like, actually, that's from 1995. I wanted to make sure that people knew that that was old material, although they did add a bonus track of a live version of a tune of ours called, tune of mine called Absinthe, to make it a little different from the original release. Anyway, interesting side note is that although the release of the instrumental record definitely did fuel my activities as far as being known more as a guitar player and fueled my ascendancy, if you will, into my relationship with Fender and leading to all that led to. Ironically, it kind of hurt me as an artist because obviously we were much more accessible to the everyman as a vocal group. Gary had a great voice on the drums. I sang, Kevin sang, we did harmony vocals, and the tunes were cool. It was a fun band. I guess for lack of a better term, it was more like, I would say we're more like kind of a Little Feat vibe. It was definitely bluesy, funky, chicken pickany, jazzy goulash, but hard to kind of pigeonhole. So with the instrumental record, it was like, it's instrumental guitar in a rootsy kind of way, but at the same time, people are like, yeah, we don't want to book an instrumental band. You're like, yeah, but we're not an instrumental band. Wait a minute. Your record isn't. Anyways, I digress. Folks, I hope you enjoyed this. Please subscribe to the channel if you would be so kind. All things Gristle can be found at gregkoch.com, just like it sounds. Everything from the hats to, of course, all my instructional DVDs and books that I have through Hal Leonard covering subjects from the latest one was Brave New Blues. There's a standard tuning slide book. There's a country book. There's a blues book. There's a lick book. There's stuff on my own, a DVD on my own stuff called Guitar Gristle. Anyways, I digress. The stuff's available, and there are Skype lessons available too. I don't really advertise them all that much, although there was just an article in a magazine that was Guitar World was kind enough to call me one of the I don't know, foremost guitar teachers, 15 of whatever. Very nice. Unexpected. And they did mention my Skype lessons in there. So if you are amenable, they're luckily coming in at a pace that I can keep up with. I charge $100 an hour. We do it via Skype, although we can do it via Zoom or FaceTime, whatever works out. And, you know, I'm pretty good about giving you a lot of stuff. And you just kind of come and say, I'm kind of thinking about this, and I kind of do a quick diagnosis. And then give you some stuff. So anyways, there you have it. Anyways, I like to add the S. Does everyone do that, or is that a Wisconsin thing? Anyways, my dad always used to yell at my sisters like when they give, anyways, whatever. All right, folks. Nice to see you. Take it easy.